We all experience stress from time to time, but have you noticed that not everybody gets stressed by the same things? And are you aware of the effects that it can have on your body?
I feel stressed a lot of the time, usually about family worries or important issues at work, and I do sometimes wonder if it's affecting my health, particularly my blood pressure.
Well, blood pressure is a measure of how strongly blood is being pressed against the walls of your arteries as it moves around your body. Stress has been found to be a big cause of high blood pressure, and this is because when we feel stressed, our body increases the level of blood flow to our muscles, preparing us for a fight or flight response to a threat. This means that our body will have more oxygen in our muscles, and so that we will be better equipped to fight a threat or to run away from it. This must have been useful for our ancestors, but for most modern-day stressors this isn't helpful. The reason why this is a problem is because an increased level of blood flow means that arteries are being stretched as blood is pumped through them. If this happens regularly or over a long period of time, they will become weakened and prone to damage. Tears can happen and scar tissue will form inside the artery, which can narrow them and make them more vulnerable to being blocked by clots or plaque. This could mean that blood flow to vital organs is being restricted or blocked completely, which could lead to a stroke, heart failure or a heart attack, and also many other serious problems such as kidney disease, loss of vision, and gangrene in your limbs. High blood pressure has also been closely linked to some forms of dementia. In this short video, I'm going to explain to you how you can be in control of your stress levels and how you can use a psychological model to manipulate the effect that stress will have on you. This model is called the Transactional model of stress. It was designed by Lazarus and Folkman and is used to look at the interaction between a person and their environment in relation to stress. The process of stress starts with a potential stressor, which could be a problem at work, money worries, or a health concern, for example. The actual issue is not the most important factor. What matters is the way you interpret this potential stressor. This is the biggest decider of whether it actually causes you stress.
Oh, okay, that makes sense, because sometimes I get really stressed out by a problem at work that my colleague just doesn't seem fazed by.
The primary appraisal process is where you evaluate the potential stressor to work out whether it is a threat to you. If you decide that it is not a threat, perhaps because it is irrelevant to you or else it is a neutral or positive event, you will feel no stress and your blood pressure will remain the same. However, you may appraise this stressor as something that is potentially harmful to you, something that you think might be harmful to you in the future, or a challenge that you will need to overcome. This is where you will move on to the next stage of the model.
Right, well, at work I'm an intern and I'm collaborating on a project with one of the full-time staff, and it doesn't seem like we're going to get the project done in time, and he just doesn't seem fazed by it, but it affects my job, so I do see it as a threat.
The next stage is called secondary appraisal. If the stressor has been perceived as a threat, this is when you assess how well you can cope with it, and this will determine whether it actually causes you stress. Lazarus and Folkman have explained that there are two ways of coping with stressors. Problem-focused coping is targeting the source of the stress directly in a practical way if the situation is changeable. Emotion-focused coping means that you work to reduce any negative emotional responses associated with the stressor, such as fear or anxiety, if you can't directly change the situation.
So in my situation, I could get the help from another colleague in order to finish the project on time, or I could accept the situation, remind myself I'm doing the best I can do, and just not worry about it.
The coping style you choose will have an effect on your blood pressure and stress. Techniques that have been found to reduce stress and keep blood pressure low are actively dealing with the situation, seeking social support, reappraising the stressor and focusing on the positives of the situation, and reducing the tension and distress you are feeling. The techniques that are not recommended as they lead to feeling stressed and increasing blood pressure are ignoring the situation, becoming aggressive, denial of the situation, and using smoking, drinking, or substances to deal with it. So, you can use this model to develop your own coping strategy for the stresses in your life, reduce your stress levels, and keep your blood pressure low. I hope this video has been helpful for you. If you feel concerned about your stress levels or about your blood pressure, you can talk to your GP, who will monitor your blood pressure and speak to you about ways to reduce your stress. Thank you for listening.